Welcome, everyone, to the Gig City Music Group podcast. I'm Matt Kelly, the founder of Gig City Music Group, where we help artists like you find momentum and fulfillment in their craft and to build you up not just as skillful working musicians, but as fulfilled human beings. That's the work I love to do. And part of that work is putting out content like this for y'all. For this inaugural podcast episode, I've got a special guest with us today, a good friend of mine. We've known each other since we were kids, Adam Stone. Honestly, you probably know him better than you know me at this point, just because of how prolific he's been in the music scene and driving that scene forward. And he just works a bunch as a musician. So I'm really excited to introduce Adam Stone to you today. Let's jump in. We're going to have a good conversation about the stuff he's got going on. Well, dude, Adam.
What's up, Matt?
I'm excited that you're here, dude.
I'm excited to be here with you, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude, honestly, I can't think of somebody that I would rather have as like the first guest on my podcast.
Honestly, there's nobody I would rather be the first guest on their podcast with.
You say that to all the girls.
And guys.
Yeah. But yeah, so you and I have known each other a long time, so I know you. But for people that are watching this that don't know you or don't know what you got going on, tell us about yourself.
Yeah.
What you're doing as a musician, all that good stuff.
So I'm a full-time musician in Chattanooga. I've been running that game for about 5.5 years now or so since the pandemic. We did music academically together growing up ever since I can remember. And then I went to school at UTC, studied music theory and composition, played in the jazz band, fell in love with jazz music, got into more of like the fusion and the funk and the rock and the prog and all the jam bands and stuff. So I operated in that world for a really long time, did some really cool show runs and like little tours with, several good bands that you might be familiar with. But now I'm doing a lot of solo stuff. I'm doing a lot of jazz, local jazz programming with quintets, quartets, trios, solo. Yeah. And I'm directing the Chattanooga Jazz Festival.
Yeah. Which is
this year is a one-day focused, local, community-driven festival that highlights and advocates for our wonderful, wonderful jazz scene in Chattanooga.
Yeah. I definitely want to talk about that because I think we're beginning to see a resurgence of jazz in Chattanooga.
We are.
Which is cool.
We are.
Because for a while it was like two people that were doing jazz.
I know.
And that's it, basically.
It was like, hey, go see Alan Wyatt every Wednesday.
Exactly,
every other Wednesday at Barking Legs. No,
Alan Wyatt is the OG.
He's the best.
Go see Alan Wyatt at Barking Legs on Wednesdays.
Yeah. Those guys are the reason why I thought that this was even possible in any capacity. And now it's like we're getting our generation involved in jazz and then the generation below us. I know you know this because you kind of introduced me to a bunch of the Lee kids that are like really pushing that culture forwards in Chattanooga now. And I think the city and its, venues and the people that are like booking events and doing stuff like that, they're now realizing, oh, there is a really good jazz scene in Chattanooga. Yeah. And our goal with the festival is to give them an opportunity to perform in front of a lot of people on a bigger stage in more of like a, I guess, publicly recognizable setting, right? Because I think these artists are often overlooked at our local concert series. I don't think I've seen a single one of these guys and groups in general, except maybe, two of them, like on Riverfront Nights, Riverbend when it was a thing, and what's the other one? Nightfall, right? All that kind of stuff. I just think, and I know there's obviously a lot that goes into the choosing of those bands, but I think we could all do a better job at focusing and highlighting on our local jazz community.
Right. Yeah. So how did the idea for the Chattanooga Jazz Festival come about? Were you a part of like the very beginnings of like, hey, we should do this? Or was it an idea someone presented to you and said, hey, help me with it? Or
So it was actually more the latter. So I have, majorly a couple of guys to thank. I have, I guess before anybody else, and before I even really realized this, when I was at UTC, when I was in college doing jazz band, I was like, getting into it. The UTC jazz band performed at an event called Chattanooga, which was led by Shane Morrow.
Yeah.
Who I at the time didn't know, hadn't worked with him. I was a young college kid. I didn't go through any programs that he had been doing, but I also didn't realize Chattanooga was like a locally run thing. So that was very impactful for me, just even as like a university band, to be able to play something like that. Like I think the 2 times we did it, or maybe the 1 time, it was at the Hunter Art Museum, in that little pavilion area that they have out there. It was just so cool. And that was kind of like the first introduction. So, and now, Chattanooga has now turned into Rise Chattanooga, which is like very impactful local nonprofit that focuses on a lot of like really great community activities and engagement for the arts. And, so a lot of love for Shane and the crew. And then additionally, and even more specifically to the idea of like a Chattanooga Jazz Festival, I want to say in like 2022 or 23, Stephen Bearden of the Premier Jazz Orchestra, who will be headlining the festival.
Also one of our featured artists. Go check him out.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. Premier's on the website. So Stephen, myself, and a couple of other people were kind of on like a planning board for a local jazz festival. And I think we did like 1 or 2 meetings. Everybody got busy. It was also amidst, kind of like coming out of the major pandemic times.
Right. Yeah.
But it to no one's fault, of course, but it kind of fell to the wayside. Like people got busy, life happens. And I mean, it kind of fizzled out a little bit. So last year in the fall, probably around this time, I saw on Facebook that local nonprofit River City Company was doing this program called the Emerging Producers Program. And a couple of my friends had done it the year prior. Courtney Chalovich did the Lookout Comedy Festival, which she's one of my, I adore that woman professionally, personally. She's awesome. Also, that is happening this weekend too. So go to the Lookout Comedy Festival, maybe all week actually. And then a really good friend of mine named Pedro put on like a music and arts festival through this program as well. So I was like, well, maybe this is a program that I could get involved with too. Yeah. And it's a simple application-based process. Like you just submit an idea, and what they're looking for is just like creatives that are trying to bring new programming to Chattanooga.
Right. Yeah.
And you can check out the River City Company website. Like they'll have information about that, or you can reach out to me and I'll tell you about it. They'd love to work with you. And so I submitted a proposal for a local jazz festival focused on highlighting and increasing visibility for the what I consider the harbingers of the jazz scene in Chattanooga. Right, the guys that are gigging weekly, bi-weekly, some daily, some like 3 or 4 times a week. The people that are the ones out there pushing the culture forwards. And that is not to disrespect the people that gig less frequently at all. Like, there's a space for them in this community and at the Jazz Festival too. But this first year, we really wanted to focus on the people that are actively doing this and like actively playing this music. And, kind of to tail onto that a little bit, like a really big goal for us with this, and for me personally, just in my life, is to demystify what jazz music is. Because I think it can be so differently perceived by so many different people. But to me, this is just, kind of my canned line of like what I've been telling people, what I think it is, right? I think it is unbridled use of nearly every element of music in a way that is communicative and expressive of one's soul and very connected with people, right? It's like all the harmony is on the table, all the rhythm is on the table, all of the weirdness, the out there, the funk, the groove, the soul, the more comfortable, like beautiful, pretty sounding stuff. It's all there, right? So like that's kind of like the artists reflect that. It's not just going to be a bunch of elevator music. It's not going to be just a bunch of like, ragtime or solo guitar, like noodling. It's a lot of really intentional, very brilliantly gifted artists. And then additionally, we have 2 big bands. We have the UTC Jazz Band playing, which is led by Rich Stickler, who also plays with Premier Jazz Orchestra. He's done such a great job at like kind of revamping the jazz program at UTC. I was on the phone with him last week. He was just saying what a great set that they have planned and that they're so excited to be able to play and share it. And then we've got Dexter Bell and Friends, which they always do like a really, really great mix of funk and jazz, blues, kind of nasty. They're so good, man. And so like, I believe Karen Collins will be singing with them. She's one of my favorite vocalists in town. And we've got Premier Jazz Orchestra headlining, and they do the classics, like, they're pulling out like Count Basie tunes, but they're also doing like Snarky Puppy, and they've got a killer vocalist, Valerie Duke, will be singing with them, who's also a great personal friend of mine.
She's awesome.
She's the best. But yeah, man, I don't even know what the question was.
No, that's great. That's how you can tell, like, when you're like really excited about something and passionate about something, is when by the time you're done, you forget the question.
Right.
Well, hey, we'll ask another question like that in a second. We're going to take a quick break.
Cool.
And we'll get back to it. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking around with us. Gig City Music Group is a platform, an organization, a network of musicians in Chattanooga. We exist to help artists like you, working artists like you, find community, make connections, collaborate, but ultimately to find fulfillment in your craft. Mm. We're able to offer coaching, booking, brand strategy, business strategy, and even just general networking for musicians in Chattanooga to really help them take the next step and get some momentum in what they're doing. We really want to take the brand of the scene of Chattanooga and give it a facelift professionally so that musicians like you who deserve a good brand actually get that brand for people to interact with. And if you guys like this kind of content, if you like conversations like this, if you want to see more from Chattanooga musicians, if you want to hear about how to better your craft, find fulfillment in what you do, then it would really help us if you served Your Majesty the algorithm by clicking the like button, subscribing to what we do, and catering to our algorithmic overlords so that this content gets out to more people who would enjoy this. So do that for us. Visit our website at chatgigs.com. It's going to help us out a lot if you do that to drive some traffic there.
You should like edit a little like demonic image of Mark Zuckerberg to pop up in the middle of this. Well, and real quick, I just want to say like how excited I am, proud of you I am, and happy for our music scene that we have somebody like yourself, like all of you guys. I know it's a team. It's not just one person ever doing this, but something that I think the Chattanooga music scene has suffered from for a long time is it's fragmented in a lot of ways, right? Yeah, it's very like there's no centralized effort to unite, right? And that's also something like we want to do with this festival. But I think on a deeper level, something you said was like giving it a facelift, giving it like an identity, right? Mm-hmm. And don't you think that like this great city deserves a great identity with its music? 100%. And there's no place as of right now. There's no singular place that people can go and look for gigs, look for like live entertainment, look to book live entertainment, look to network with other musicians. Mm-hmm. And I think you guys are nailing it. And I would encourage all of the listeners and viewers of this podcast, like go look at the website. Like it's a really, really great website. It's very user friendly. The interfacing is awesome. And if you believe in this, as you should, you will support this. And, you know, they have subscription options for, you know, how deeply you want to be involved. And they're doing seminars on top of just offering you like networking. It is a really good thing. It is very valuable. And I think any of my friends that I've talked to endlessly about our frustrations with the music scene, our frustrations can be resolved if we all band together and work with Matt and his team, because like they really are doing what we're talking about. And we just need to keep talking about it.
Dude, I appreciate that, man.
I mean it, man.
And it's something that I love. Like I don't have like a ton of skills. Like I'm not the best musician in Chattanooga.
Same.
I'm not, the best recorder in Chattanooga. I'm not the most connected or anything. But one thing that I have that is at the central to this project for me is that just I really love connecting people that need to know each other.
Yeah, same.
I really love seeing people that haven't collaborated before collaborating.
I couldn't agree more, man. I mean, you've helped me do that. Like you introduced me to some of my new favorite musicians, like in the past year, through doing that. But I will also say, and I feel similarly about myself, but what you are the best at is being Matt Kelly.
Yeah. And I do that pretty well. I think
you're the best Matt Kelly I know in Chattanooga. And there's nobody with the spirit like you, man. And there never has been. Mm-hmm. And it just feels really good to see you like direct that energy into something like this. And I think it couldn't be being done at a better time either. The city is posturing itself in a major way to grow.
Yes.
And if we don't grow with it, we get left behind.
100%.
And that's not what this music scene deserves. That's not what any of us deserve. that are pouring our lives and our souls into this.
Dude, and part of like what it means to grow with the city is like we're going to have to, like you said, like decide who we want to be.
That's right.
Right.
That's
and
right.
it can't just be like so much of the identity of Chattanooga music is accidental. And like, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like, if we do want to grow the city, not get left behind and just become a cover band town from like for people that come in, not just cover bands, but like people who come in from out of town.
Trust me, I know.
Like then we have to like have a unified message of who we are. And that unified message can include a broad range of people, but we got to tell the same story.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. And at least have aligned goals, you know,
yes.
An aligned vision as to how we can grow this together. And something that I will also say is like, you know, if you people on the outside could look at this and be like, oh, I don't know about, you know, subscribing to something that's like going to be in control of my image and that's not what this is. And that's not who you are. Like you said, you literally exist to connect people, and you've always been like that. And I can attest this. I've known this man since we were children. Yeah. Like, and it hasn't even all been through music, right? So, I know where your heart is at with this, and I know the conversation is at the focus, and the growth is at the focus. And even if that means like, oh, here's how we've been operating, but now we're presented with these different thoughts and these different ideals, and it's like, you are not somebody that's afraid to like pivot and afraid to like take that constructive criticism and make those changes if it's going to be better for what you're trying to do.
Right. Yeah.
Because what you're trying to do is be better for all of us, right?
Exactly.
At the core, it's not like you're trying to do this for yourself. And that's what I tell people constantly. It's like, man, if I was trying to do this for myself, like I would do something completely different. Like I would not be a musician trying to program events and like put on a festival and advocate. Like I would just, you know, focus on me and probably move to Nashville and, you know, get in a recording studio and pay somebody a bunch of money to, you know, sell me to whoever. Right. That's not what this is. Like this is a community supporting a community.
Yes.
In a very dire time where that's needed.
Right. And I think in Chattanooga, like, I mean, you think about like the difference between Nashville and like, at least my vision for Chattanooga music, I think they're very different. Like, I don't have a vision for Chattanooga being like the most financially sustainable city in the world for being a musician. Like,
right.
I don't have a vision for Chattanooga being like the most well-produced thing or whatever, you know, like, or even just like the biggest or anything. Like Nashville can take all of that. But what Chattanooga can be is the most fulfilling place to be an artist. Yeah. And like part of being like having a fulfilling time as an artist is compensation. Yeah. Right. We want to be able to have musicians be paid a fair wage and to make a living and to not feel like they have to sacrifice time that they want to spend on their craft because they got to go get a job, you know, doing something else that they hate and sucks their soul away. Absolutely. Right. You know? And like getting there's like no problem with doing the part-time thing. Like this is my part-time thing, right? It's my side gig,
dude. I mean, I'm working at a computer for 6 hours a day, like on a festival, which is like I've done so much more of that than I've been playing this year, right? So just like I totally get that, and I also think Chattanooga is the music scene is authentic, right? And I think with authenticity comes vulnerability. And I think with vulnerability, there can be, you know, a lot of like those kind of more like emotional ties mixed into it. So kind of like honing those in and focusing that and saying that vulnerability is our strength. Yes. And that authenticity is our strength. Chattanooga will not be Nashville. It doesn't need to be Nashville. It doesn't have the infrastructure or the size to be Nashville. Right. Yeah. We also don't need another Nashville. It's 2 hours away from here.
Exactly. Like, Chattanooga, Nashville, just drive there.
That's right. Chattanooga needs to be what it is. And what it is a community-focused city with, I you know, cut this if it's not right. I'm almost positive Chattanooga per capita has the most arts-focused nonprofits in the nation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that's a legit statistic. We can look it up. You know,
right.
Mix that if I'm off.
That.
Yeah, but if it's not the most, it's up there. There are a lot of community-focused organizations in this town. It is small enough to where you can know people and you can bond and have like deep connections with so many people that impact a lot of change in this city. But it's big enough to where there are opportunities and it has even more room and even more potential to grow.
Dude, I wish we could like talk for like another hour.
I know, man.
I have so many things I want to talk about. I want to talk about like some things that maybe we feel like are holding the music scene back, attitudes that maybe need to change, mindsets that need to change. Dude, I like, I don't know how it's possible that it's already been like 25 minutes that we've been talking. There's so many things that I want to talk about. We're going to have you back on for another episode because I want to talk about things that we think maybe are holding the scene back, attitudes that maybe need to shift, how we can collaborate more as a community, all of these things. I want to talk about tech. I want to talk about strategies for business, all that stuff, but we just don't have time.
I know.
So instead, tell people where they can find your stuff. Okay. Give us another plug for the Chattanooga Jazz Fest and where people can learn about that and why they should come.
Okay, yeah. So you can find my stuff, which is a very wide variety of stuff. I play in a lot of different bands. I write a lot of music with like solo. I have, original bands that I write music for, and I do a lot of like, hired gun gigs. So Instagram is my primary social media platform that I use. Adam Stone Music. At Adam Stone Music. It should be the first one that pops up. And then you can find me on Facebook as well, just Adam Stone, maybe music. I don't know. It might help to narrow it down. And then with the Chattanooga Jazz Festival, you can go to our website, which is just chajazzfest.com, chajazzfest.com. It's got links to all our social medias. And then, as you would imagine, all of our social media handles are just CHA Jazz Fest. Made it really easy for people.
Yeah. It's going to be at the Choo Choo.
Yeah. Right? So this Sunday, the 26th, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Chattanooga Choo Choo. If it does not rain, we're outside in the garden area, setting up on that big stage in the back. If it does rain, we're moving all of our vendors into the dome, and we will operate out of Gate 11 and then Wonderlinger Brewing Company for our after party.
Cool. Yep. Dude, been exciting having you on, man.
Yeah. Pleasure.
Hey, thanks so much, guys, for joining us for the very first episode ever of the Gig City Music Group podcast. I hope you continue to listen. Once again, like, subscribe, smash all the buttons on there. Just take your keyboard and
lizard.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So do that with the like button and all the buttons. Like, click every button available to you on the screen. Okay.
All that. So
exactly. Yeah. Yes. So we're gonna end now with some of Adam's music. The song that's gonna play is a song from him. I hope you enjoy. Let's support local music. Let's grow the scene together.